Hello everybody, Gareth here from WhatCulture Wrestling, bringing you a solo Saturday edition of wrestling news right now, and it is the last news video of 2022. We made it. We made it to the end of this balmy year, the balmiest of all years in wrestling, if you ask me. And thankfully today's not as crazy. There's still a few weird stories that are out there that we're going to dive into, but before we do that, go and check out whatculture.com because we've got loads of write-ups, lists, articles, loads of great stuff there, and obviously the channel that you're watching this video on right now. Go and check out all the other videos that we've got dropping throughout the festive period because we are not stopping that content train just because there's snow outside. That's just not what we do. Before we actually go into the meat and bones of all the news stories that we've got today, I think it is important though to just take a minute just to pay tribute to Don West, because if you're not aware of this by now, over the last 24 hours we lost Don West to his battle with cancer. He was 59 years old. He's known predominantly for his time in Impact, where he's one of the voices of Impact on the commentary desk, and it's just a really sad time, isn't it? A lot of wrestling figures out there have already paid tribute to him on Twitter, social media, and we're just taking the time to do that now. Everyone here at WhatCulture, we send our thoughts and prayers and everything else to Don's family at an awful time, dreadful way to end the year. So yeah, that's our, I don't want to say a quick tribute because there's just not enough time to really dive into everything that you want to talk about with Don West. But yeah, that's us tipping the cap to the great Don West. So moving on to the first seismic story in terms of the actual in-ring action that went on last night was the return, a huge return out of nowhere of Charlotte Flair. I know, I didn't see it coming, I don't think you did either, but she was on SmackDown, the last SmackDown of 2022, because Ronda Rousey defended her SmackDown Women's Championship against Raquel Rodriguez. They had a great match, and by the end of it you were like, oh, Ronda's just battered another challenger, who the hell's going to take this belt off her? Nobody, that's who. But then, she went to get the mic and cut a promo, and then Charlotte's new music came on, where he's like, I am the queen, and then she came down the ring, and I quite like the new music, to be honest. She came down, and she was like, I want to fight you tonight. Ronda kind of tried to do a weird promo thing where she was like, are you fit enough to have a match at the Royal Rumble? She was like, no, I'm fit enough right now. They had a match, really quick match, and Charlotte won, and the roof nearly came off the building. It was a great moment, to be honest. It was completely unexpected. I didn't see it coming. If you did, if there were reports out there that I completely missed that she was going to be at SmackDown, I don't know, but it was cool for me. I was shocked, and it feels like this is going to have some pretty big impact on what WWE are going to do now going into the road to WrestleMania, because for everyone else's money, it felt like you were going to have Becky versus Ronda for the SmackDown Women's Championship. That's where it felt like we were going there. But now, maybe Ronda goes into the Rumble. Maybe that becomes a thing, and she has to fight for a chance to win a belt back at WrestleMania. And who will be the champion at WrestleMania now? Everything's thrown up into the air. I like this kind of chaos and this unpredictability when it comes to my wrestling because I just don't know what's going to happen next. It makes me want to tune in next week, and that's what it's all about. But sticking with this theme of what we're going to do now with just everything heading into WrestleMania, now Charlotte Flair's back, and that's just completely changed everything again. We've got a few updates, really, on the WrestleMania card because Wrestling News, WrestlingNews.co, just to give the full title there, have had some sources just tell them what they believe the card is going to look like, what is set there backstage at this current moment in time in WWE, and there's some pretty mouth-watering matches, I'm not going to lie, but some rather unpredictable and unexpected things as well. That word keeps popping up because it's been one of those kind of days, isn't it? So, first big one where you kind of go, okay, kind of didn't see that coming, but fine. Logan Paul's opponent for WrestleMania 39. You may remember a couple of months ago, I think it was in November, so a month ago, Logan was saying that he really likes the idea of facing Mr. John Cena, who was, I don't know why my voice did that, but it did. John Cena was at SmackDown last night, obviously in the big main event. He teamed with Kevin Owens to take on the Bloodlines, Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn, and they had a match, and John Cena and KO won, because of course they did. It was a nice feel-good moment, and now people are thinking, well, what's going to happen? Well, it looks like we're going to get Logan Paul versus John Cena, because Logan Paul said that he wanted that match with John Cena and texted Triple H and said, let's break the internet and make a dream match bout type scenario come true, buddy. And that looks like WWE is really interested in that. That was English, okay? That looks like something now that WWE want to do, because that's set apparently on the card, according to the source that WrestlingNews.co has. And on top of that, there's a few other matches that Wrestling News have had information on that are going to apparently be a thing. So I'm going to read off this supposed card, which is apparently going to happen. We've got WWE Championship. So for the WWE Championship, you've got Seth Rollins versus either Cody Rhodes or Drew McIntyre. So that feels like we're going to have Seth Rollins win the WWE Championship at some point on the road to WrestleMania. Those titles are going to be broken up. That's what the plan appears to be on that. And then we've got Roman Reigns putting his Universal Championship on the line against either The Rock or Cody Rhodes. So my mind, according to this card, would just break down that it looks like Cody Rhodes is going to win the Men's Royal Rumble. That's where my mind goes there. I might just be like reading too much into what I'm seeing, but for Cody Rhodes to be in both World Championship matches, like potentially, like he's an option for either of them, it makes me think that he's maybe going to win that Rumble, so we'll see what happens there. And then also you've got the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match, which is the Usos defending their belts against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. So are they going to reconcile on the road to WrestleMania? And apparently so, we'll see what happens. And then you got Logan Paul versus John Cena, which again is a big one. So they've also said, Wrestling News, that there's been another match that has apparently been confirmed for WrestleMania, and this pertains to what we've seen with the Ronda Rousey Charlotte Flair stuff, obviously on last night's SmackDown, which is Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch appears to have been scrapped. So much for that then. So we've spent like years going towards that match, and apparently it's been scrapped, according to the sources that have spoken to WrestlingNews.co. They've said that we're not really sure what Lynch's plans are now, like going into WrestleMania, but in terms of Rousey, it's looking like Rousey, well, at the time of this like thing going out, it was looking like Rousey was going to defend her championship against Rhea Ripley, but now she doesn't have the championship. Are they just going to have like a one-on-one exhibition type thing, or is Rousey going to win a title back on the road to WrestleMania? We don't know, but the fact that you're going to have Rousey against Ripley, it's a combination I did not think of coming into this. I don't know why. Everyone was thinking, obviously, Ripley versus Becky Lynch because of all the stuff they've done on Raw. Where you've seen the few looks at each other. And it's like, oh, I kind of want to see that. But yeah, Ripley, Rousey, I'm kind of into it. I've got to say, I'm kind of a big fan. Let me know what you think of that in the comments section down below, because I kind of want to see Ronda Rousey try and put Rhea Ripley in an armbar, and then she just looks at her and gives her one of them menacing faces and goes, "Mammy's gonna powerbomb you," and that's what she does. I kind of want to see that. So, of course, it's important with all this just to remember that things can change. Things can change very quickly in the world of wrestling. So this could very much be the plan, like at this current moment in time. But things may change. People might get injured. Plans just might change. Creative plans. People might suddenly become available, and you go, "Well, I'm not going to not use Stone Cold Steve Austin in a WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. Why not?" So we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen there. But something that we do officially know that is going to happen at the Royal Rumble is we're going to have a pitch black match. Yeah, that's going to be something, because Bray Wyatt is going to be fighting LA Knight in the first ever pitch black match, which may or may not be just some way of like pleasing Mountain Dew as a sponsor, because Mountain Dew have a new pitch black flavor coming out. Go figure. And that's going to be a thing. Last night on SmackDown, Uncle Howdy came out in the middle of these two making their Royal Rumble match official, and his sister Abigail Wyatt, he had like a new looking mask, I think. He had like a bit of a chin stubble coming out and then a weird little thing on top of his head. And he nailed one hell of a Sister Abigail. Almost made me think it was, something that was in the family, if you know what I mean. Like, because it seemed very reminiscent to the way that Wyatt does it. I'm just going to leave that there. It made sense in my mind. So yeah, it was something. It was something. I don't know how I feel about it. I like Bray Wyatt to a certain degree. I'm not sure if this is clicking for me right now. It at least feels like it's going towards something for a change. It's felt like it's meandered for the last month and a half. Now it feels like we're actually building towards something. And I like LA Knight, so hopefully they can make some magic together. But again, we'll see what happens at the Rumble, which is only a couple of weeks away now, which is pretty cool. It's the best event of the year, so I'm excited about that. I'm sure you are too. And the last big story that we're going to talk about that dropped over the last day or so is the fact we've been talking a lot about CM Punk. I've mentioned him a lot in all these videos. Like Dax Howard's been sending out pleas saying like, I just want to make sure the Elite and Punk come together again. We can all live happily ever after. A lot of things like that. But we've had another update. I know, just when you thought you'd heard everything, we've got another update from the Wrestling Observer newsletter from Dave Meltzer himself, who said that there are some top stars in AEW who they don't want him back. They don't want CM Punk back. They've apparently even gone as far, and this is including people like Chris Jericho, they've gone as far as to say that they are going to make sure that Punk does not return, because Jericho, I believe, I think it was in October, it was reported that he called CM Punk a cancer to his face in the wake of the brawl out thing. So he's not a big fan of Mr. Punk at this point. It doesn't feel like everybody in the locker room is on this side of the divide. I don't want to call it a divide, but this side of... They've not got this opinion, let's say, because Dax Howard's there saying, like, oh, well, I want to get everyone back together again. We need everyone together because these are some of the best wrestlers in the world. If we have them all in one locker room, it's going to be great for everyone. Whereas veterans like Chris Jericho have looked at the situation and gone, no, we don't need that in the locker room. So it's a very complicated, very... just, I don't know, just complicated probably is the word right now. Scenario, situation. It's unsure what's going to happen with Punk. I mean, it felt like maybe we were edging towards that comeback with Punk himself commenting on the Dax Howard thing. Like, he said, duh, yeah, come on, let's apologize, just make up with it, make a lot of money. But now this kind of report makes you think, oh, maybe it just piss off the rest of the locker room if he comes back in. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to rumble on throughout 2023, I believe. And I'm not sure. Are we going to see Punk return to AEW in 2023? I kind of want to, obviously, because he's had a hell of a year or so, whenever it was in AEW. He had one of the best years in wrestling. I think he burned brightly for one hell of a year and then went up in flames at the back end of it. But I think he is good for the business. It gets eyes on AEW. If they could somehow come to some kind of agreement and have Punk and FTR teaming up against the Elite, it just... you could sell out a stadium. There, I said it. You could sell out a stadium with that match alone. So, money's money, business is business. Just get over it, lads, and just do your thing. Right, we're going to end this video now with just the one Twitter question today, because I saw this one and I thought, you know what, it's fair enough to do this on the last day of the year. Why not? I'm gonna give my opinion on this, and it's from Football, Beer and Punk Rock Podcast at FBR Podcast, FBPR Podcast. How dare I? They said, late as hell, but what is your favourite wrestling moment this year? Right, this year. Been a lot of them, hasn't there? There's been a lot of moments, been a lot of weird moments, but in terms of the best one, the one that made me go, what am I watching? It's got to be Cody, right? It's got to be Cody popping out at WrestleMania, because that was just... I mean, I was a little bit delirious, not going to lie. I just, had a massive train journey late at night from Manchester to Newcastle, got straight into the office, me and Andy Murray, we sat there, we streamed it, we drank one of the WhatCulture YPA beers. It was all a bit blurry, but then that happened and there was clarity. All was clear in the world, and I just watched CM Punk, that would have been something. Cody Rhodes come down the ramp to his American Nightmare Kingdom music, dressed out, and just, it was great. It was great. I can't even articulate how crazy it was, because it just felt like I was living a dream at that point. But it was cool. It was awesome, and for me, it was my favorite moment of this year. There's other ones you could probably choose, controversial ones or just jaw-dropping ones, but that for me was something else. I think that's what wrestling's all about, and that's the same night that Stone Cold Steve Austin returned to wrestling, and I'm choosing the Cody moment. I know, I'm weird, I'm a stupid person, but that's my opinion. What has been your favourite wrestling moment of 2022? Nearly said 2023, nearly wished away an entire year there. That would have been something. Let me know about that, and all the other news stories, what you feel about them, what's your opinion on everything that we've seen. What do you think of Charlotte Flair being back and being the new SmackDown Women's Champion? I believe that's her 14th reign with a Women's World Championship, which is staggering. What do you think of all these stories? And obviously, once again, we want to pay tribute to Don West, because that was some awful news as well that we've been dealt over the last day or so. But we're going to end this year now. We're going to end 2022. I have been Gareth from WhatCulture Wrestling. Follow myself on Twitter at gmorgan04. Follow everyone here at WhatCulture at WhatCulture WWE. But more importantly than anything when it comes to wrestling, and even though we love wrestling, that's why we're here, is just have whatever end of year you want to have, all right? If that means going out with your friends and having a few beverages, great. If that just means sitting at home with a cup of hot chocolate and just spending some time alone with yourself, then that's absolutely fine and great and just awesome as all hell too. You do whatever you want to do. But what I'm going to do is sign off now with a salute and thank you very much for making 2022 one of the best years that I've ever had at WhatCulture, and I'm sure everyone else would agree here at WhatCulture Wrestling, because you make it all possible. So thank you, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye bye.